Vodcast. Join us as we explore the inner workings of all things plant-based and all things PlantX, from the products and lifestyles to the people behind them. Now welcome our host, the man who combined his love of e-commerce and the plant-based lifestyle to create PlantX, Sean Dollinger.
Hey everyone, welcome to our third episode of season 2 of the PlantX Vodcast. And again, thank you very much to all of our shareholders and investors and customers who believe in PlantX and that have allowed us to achieve so much in just over a year. And for all the new viewers, because obviously the current investors, shareholders, and customers share the story of PlantX, we love to start the podcast off with what we're all about. So my name's Sean Dollinger, and I co-founded PlantX. My background is 20 years of e-com, and what PlantX is all about is your one-stop shop for everything plant-based. So if you're looking for meal delivery, groceries, just to learn a little bit about the plant-based space, that's essentially what PlantX is. And you know, for myself, it's been about a 10-year journey of living a plant-based lifestyle. And I still remember, even in the early days, people always saying, what do you mean you only eat vegetables and all these different products? So the reason why PlantX is so different is we're accepting. We want people to come, learn, educate themselves on what a plant-based lifestyle is all about. And if somebody ended up not eating a plant-based meal the day before, that's perfectly all right. We want you to come and explore at PlantX. And just to speak a little bit about the power of a platform. And today on the show, when we meet Kellie, who's been powering the source of the vegan wines on our platform, by us introducing it and introducing it to our customers, who the list has grown over the last year. And as soon as we put them up, we start seeing people ordering 12 bottles at once, 18 bottles. Like this weekend, I believe we sold over 100 bottles of wine. And we're not even allowed advertising or marketing alcohol because it's 21 plus in the US. So we're just really allowed putting it on the vertical and being able to introduce this amazing selection, and it just keeps growing. It gives people selection and allows them to come and explore a whole new avenue of plant-based living. And that's what PlantX will continue to do till we have hundreds of thousands of products on our platform. And on that, I'd like to welcome Kellie to the show.
Hi, Sean. Thank you so much for having us. We're thrilled to be here, and we're excited to be partnering with you.
Awesome. No, thanks, Kellie, for taking the time. And before we jump into it, we love to start the podcast with asking, how do you take your coffee?
Well, I'll be perfectly honest here, because I love transparency. I do use half and half in my coffee. I am actually very interested in exploring others after working with you guys. And I am very interested in plant-based life. I guess it's a habit. So yes.
No, it's awesome that you're transparent, and we'll definitely get you out a little care package so that you could explore and test the different options out there. And that's the whole thing about PlantX. Like I started off saying in our introduction, we want people to just come and explore and give it a try. And I always find that reaction, but that's what's beautiful about PlantX. We're loving and accepting over here. So on that note, and this is something that I don't know necessarily if I have the answer to, I kind of brush it off, and we'll start off, what makes a wine vegan? Because I would think that all wine is vegan.
Well, that's actually a very common idea that people have, because you think it's grapes and yeast, but actually non-vegan wines will use animal byproducts in the fining and filtration process. So a vegan wine can be certified vegan if they have the intent not to use any animal byproducts. And these that are just put up on the screen are commonly used fining and filtering agents in wine. And they're used primarily to remove sediment and refine color, clarity, and brilliance of a wine. If you ever notice you're drinking a wine that has, some items at the bottom of it or floating around in it, that's sediment. And that's, that's a sign that the wine was possibly not fined or filtered. There's nothing wrong with it, but it can be off-putting to the consumer. So vegan wines do not use any animal byproducts at all in the winemaking process.
Wow, awesome. So now I have the answer to my question. And when people ask me, that's great. And does it affect the flavor at all when it's done differently?
So the only thing, I think the main fining agent that will affect the flavor is predominantly egg whites, and they'll use that in a lot of bigger red wines to kind of control the tannins a little bit. That's probably the most common one, but for the most part, no, it does not affect the flavor at all. In wines that are also non-vegan, there have been studies that the animal byproduct does actually come into the final finished product by very, very minimal parts. But to be fully vegan, there's absolutely none of that used. And they use alternatives such as bentonite clay, and then some plant-based proteins as well to fine the wines.
Truly amazing. I really didn't know any of this, and hopefully our investors and shareholders appreciate that there is a difference between the wines out there, and for us to be able to create this unbelievable selection of wines is fantastic, and to give people comfort and just opens your eyes to what other products in this world do you think are vegan, but they might actually not be. And PlantX, it was launched during the pandemic pretty much. So obviously we keep seeing the growth. You keep hearing the plant-based space, the interest in it, and it's growing exponentially. I know that you've been involved in this for quite some time, and the company. Have you seen a jump in sales since COVID, and with the growing popularity of plant-based living?
100%. Yeah, we really started seeing kind of the interest in organic wine really, between the last 5 and 7 years, and then the vegan certification has really started growing. I would say in the more recent years. COVID, I think, has also definitely increased people's interest in vegan wines, as I think people are thinking, we noticed people were buying more wine, so drinking a little bit more. I think they're becoming a little bit more conscious about the types of wine they're putting into their bodies. And the vegan wines, I think that they are, a great, not necessarily an alternative, but something you can also, say you're living a plant-based life with no animal byproducts.
And this next question I have for you is a two-pronged question. The first part being, where do you see the industry heading? And then with you having a first mover advantage in the plant-based or vegan wine selection, what advantages do we have working together?
Well, I think, one of the advantages is that we are, our company is extremely knowledgeable. And as we were one of the leaders in the, the organic, natural, biodynamic, and also vegan wine category, we're very knowledgeable and seeking out suppliers all the time and families that will fit into our values that we look for in wine suppliers. We started out, really having a focus on the organic and natural and vegan now, especially because of the transparency that we have to the customer, and, letting your customer know what they're drinking, where it's coming from, and what's in it is ultimately extremely important. So, and then the vegan wine category also has been especially the last 2 years, I would say, has been growing a lot. We have some iconic producers in our portfolio that have been making wine for hundreds of years that have actually just recently gotten the vegan wine certification. And these are generations of families that have been producing wine that way for hundreds of years. And they're now realizing the importance of actually getting the certification to show the consumer.
Yeah, I can't see it slowing down. And as you said, as mainstream producers and all these other people who have a vested interest in vineyards, et cetera, I can't see them not adapting to come on board or at least produce lines. So I'm really, really excited to see all the new products, and with our platform, obviously introducing our customer base to all the new and exciting products. By no means am I a doctor, but the plant-based lifestyle, just introducing more vegetables into your life, I can't see it hurting the body. What's your take, or is there any research out there on vegan wines? Is it healthier for you? Anything on that side of things?
Well, I would say I think it's really important to take into consideration what you're putting into your body, and following a plant-based diet that you believe in. Vegan wines will provide that for you. Also, I think it's kind of the sustainability factor for the planet. Taking animals out of the product and out of the equation is better for the environment as well. So it's another thing I think you can feel good about as you're having your glass of wine.
Yeah, I think that's definitely valid. And Kelly, just so you know, during these podcasts, and we stream live to multiple platforms, kind of like our platform at plantx.com and plantx.ca. We like giving people choice and variety. So we stream to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and over the last couple of weeks, we actually have sometimes 1,000 live viewers. We actually have over 10,000 shareholders at PlantX, which we've been able to achieve in just 1 year, which is pretty remarkable. We encourage our investors and shareholders to send questions. It's not all every day that we get the opportunity to speak with someone like yourself, and obviously the wine alcohol category is a massive one. And Michael German has been very active over the last few podcasts, and we want to thank him very much for his feedback. And we would love to send him some alcohol, but we might run into some challenges over the border, but we'll explore that with you after the show. But he'll at least get some plants. We put together a great selection, and thank you very much, Michael, for that. So we've had a couple questions come in to the show today. So if you don't mind, let's jump into those. From one person, what's your favorite vegan wine?
Oh, that is a tough question. Whatever's in my glass. No, I'm just kidding. Gosh, right now, I love Spanish wines from Rioja. One of my favorite wineries of all time is Cune. They are one of the wineries I recently mentioned got all of their wines certified vegan, which I thought was very impressive. And I have this other wine back here that I think is quite good, Ankari Rosé. And I also wanted to point out too, if you're ever looking for vegan, this is what the certification looks like. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So we got a great question from Christian, and you'll make some people really happy.
I think I saw that.
With the answer to this one. Do vegan wines give you a hangover?
Well, I'm going to answer this the way I answer a lot of questions about wine and hangovers. I think it depends on how much vegan wine you drink. So
I like that one.
They are made sustainably and in all best practices, but in moderation will go a long way with wine.
Absolutely. And we had one other question, and it's mostly pointed towards PlantX, but there's no reason why you can't jump in. Someone's asking when these vegan wines or the selection will be available to our customers in Canada. So I know right now from the PlantX perspective, we're not set up to ship into Canada just yet, or to bring those products over the border. Have you explored, or do you know the path forward to bringing your selection to Canada?
I don't know. That would be probably more one of our importer driven questions, and I'm sure that they do have some distribution in Canada. A lot of our vegan wine suppliers. So I can definitely follow up and find out, but I'm definitely sure that they are available in Canada. And again, you can just look for vegan on the back label as well. If you could see that.
Awesome. Well, Kellie, thank you so much for joining us live and unedited and coming on here and explaining to our customers all about vegan wine. I know that it was very informative for myself. I know I've learned something. So again, thank you very much from the whole PlantX family.
Thank you for having us.
Great. So once again, an amazing partner for PlantX, and just being at the forefront of this whole plant-based movement and creating a platform well before plant-based living became a buzzword. You know, PlantX was here. It was an idea in December of 2019, and our website went live in April of 2020. With that being said, this past week, extremely exciting week, the whole management team, everybody had their heads down. The Canadian website launched on Shopify, plantx.ca. Already what we're seeing is how quick that platform is. So go ahead as a investor, shareholder, customer, go take a look and see how much quicker plantx.ca is versus plantx.com. And Google loves that experience for our viewers who come to the website, you know, and explore and shop. We want to make sure that it's seamless. We're hoping people are going to add 50, 60, 70 products during a shopping experience. And the only way someone's going to be willing to do that is with ease, flexibility, and speed. And I think you'll see that functionality on plantx.ca. We've already seen basket sizes go up by 50%. And just the amount of transactions, a conversion rate almost doubling overnight by going to this platform. So we're going to slowly take what we've learned and roll it out across all of our platforms to create a really strong foundation going forward. With being the leader in plant-based living, we were delivered and reached out by somebody with a brand called Moku, and it's a plant-based jerky. And I've tried the original and the teriyaki is actually quite good, you know, compared to what jerkies normally taste like, and it tastes, and the texture is so similar. It's quite remarkable, and that's what we get at PlantX. People wanting to come to us to add their products to our platform. So we have this first mover advantage of creating the #1 plant-based platform essentially in the world. And I've had a lot of conversations with shareholders and investors over the last couple of weeks. And one of the things that I love about PlantX, not only are we this incredible platform that we're building out, but the brick and mortar locations. Anybody who says, well, what is PlantX really? It's just a website. Well, when people come to our Squamish location or our location in Venice Beach, California, the one opening up in Hillcrest, they start realizing that this is real, this whole movement. I see people come into these stores with just so much excitement. And sometimes people think that, hey, it's easy to put out a press release. I just wanted to share our X Food, how incredibly packaged this is. And for the viewer, this might just look like a product, but everything from the logo, there were about 10 team members just involved in creating this logo, to the different symbols that you see, to the actual way that the product's kept so that it doesn't move around and still looks extremely presentable when somebody opens up the pack, to the cooking instructions and what goes into that. And we launched this with Matthew Kenny and his whole team, and you know, everything from the back of it. And you start touching this and you see these on display, and you realize that our investors and shareholders are part of something huge, massive. And this started as a dream, like I said, in December of 2019. And here we are just about 18 months later. And everything that's been created couldn't have been if it wasn't to the shareholders and investors believing in us. And I promise you one thing, there is so much more happening behind the scenes I can't wait to share everything with everybody over the next few months. And seeing this whole story come together is absolutely incredible. Till next time, stay curious, stay planted, stay healthy. Cheers.
Thanks for watching the PlantX Vodcast. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more information, go to investor.plantx.com. See you next time.